It's Tuesday night. That means Mark Haynes, my boy right there, and yours truly. We're doing the I80 crossover. Frank Red's going to join us in a little bit. Speaking of the I80, apparently a big rig flipped over on the Bay Bridge. My sincerest condolences to everyone dealing with that nightmare, dude. I can't. You might as well just make plans for dinner in the city. You might, if you can turn around. You might be stuck on the Bay Bridge. Anyways, Frank Red, he may or may not join us. How are you doing, man? Good to see you, Mark.
I'm good, man. We had a little incident. It wasn't the 80 per se, even though the 80 goes into, the 50 out to Tahoe. But last night, a helicopter crashed on the freeway. Wasn't the I-80, but it was close. But it crashed on the freeway.
It crashed on the 50?
On the 50, yeah, right.
Dude, I know that, dude. That's the 50s Placerville, the 50s South Lake, dude. I've been on that road a million times. A helicopter crashed on the 50?
Yeah, it was like one of the emergency, hospital helicopters, and it just took off not too far, and it came right back down. And
no shit.
The from what I seen this morning, the passengers or the pilots, they survived. They were in bad shape, of course, or whatever. But yeah, they managed to land right off into the side of the freeway where it was a lot of construction going on. So, no fatalities that I'm aware of or whatever. But it was I happened to be on the road at that time, and I seen like the traffic, and I drove around it. And then when I got home, I seen the videos. But yeah, a helicopter,
that's heavy, dude. Oh my God, that is heavy. Well,
yeah.
I hope everyone's safe and sound out there. There's a strong possibility you're listening to this while you're in the car. Just keep your head in a swivel, folks. It's my dad. If he taught me anything in this world that is of value, it's drive defensively, right? Like, because you never know what other people are doing out there. Even if you're driving perfectly, if you're not keeping an eye out on other, that's why motorcycle riders, like, tip of a cap to you, man. You folks have some huge cojones, metaphorically and otherwise, because you could ride your bike perfectly, and all it takes is one idiot to just turn into you, and that's it. So stay safe out there. That's crazy. Well, we're talking Warriors today. We're talking Kings today, because that's what we do. It's the NorCal crossover, Interstate 80, Bleav in Kings golden days, and there's a lot to talk about, man. Giannis Antetokounmpo might be available, and that explains a lot about the Warriors' activities, particularly with the Jonathan Kuminga negotiations. That's what I read out of that story by Shams today. I don't know. Maybe the Kings are in the running too, Mark. I'm going to ask you that in just a second, but we'll start with an update from the Kings. We'll talk Warriors, and we're going to go through the rest of the NBA in terms of over-unders, give you the complete preview. How does that sound for a show, Mark? That sound good to you?
Sound good. Sound like a pretty dang good show.
Awesome. And I see Frank Red. He made it, dude. He survived the Bay Bridge. He'll be joining us as well. Let's get into it. It's Bleav in Kings. It's golden days. It's the I80 crossover. Oh, yeah. Brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of the Bleav Network in golden days, and hopefully soon Bleav in Kings. Frank Red joins us. He's got his own program in the dungeon. Did I get that right, or just the dungeon? Correct?
No, in the dungeon is correct.
That's okay, right. Beautiful.
Welcome back.
Yeah. How was the grind on the bridge, brother? I'm glad you made it through it, man. I can picture it. The moment anybody says anything like that, I can just picture the misery. I'm glad you came through.
Yeah, well, 2 hours I can never get back, but I made it through. I've been around long enough to know that you control what you can control, and beyond that, you just got to chill, man. You got to chill and let it.
Well, I'm glad you made it. And again, we're going to be doing a whole we're going to finish up the OU segment we started a couple weeks ago, detailing every NBA team and what we think is going to happen with them. We're going to give our predictions for using FanDuel's lines for the over-under, the win-loss totals for each team, which reveals a lot, and it opens the door for us to have a good discussion. But, Mark, let's start here real fast. You cover the Sacramento Kings. Congratulations on a new story that's out there right now. You interviewed the GM of the Sacramento Kings. Any revelations in that piece? It's available online, the Sacramento Observer. People can follow you, Mark, on Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky and everything else at Mark Haynes NBA. So I'm sure you've tweeted, posted the link to the story, but summarize it for us, man. How was your experience sitting down with the GM of the Sacramento Kings?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool, man. Scott Perry, he's a good guy, and you get that vibe from him like instantly. Like soon as he walks into the room, he was open for any and all questions. But this was, my approach with talking with him was, I wanted to help the fans get to know a little more about him, and he talked about his upbringing a lot and how he still uses those same values of growing up in Detroit, from his parents and just the city itself, and what he feels like the Sacramento Kings organization and the city needs really. And that's Detroit. You think about the Bad Boy Pistons or whatever. It was a tough group. That city of Detroit, a tough city, is that's a lot of grit and things of that nature come from that, and that's what he wants this Sacramento Kings.
Draymond Green, Michigan native.
Yeah. So you see the type of people that come up out of there, but no, what really stood out to me, outside of he comes from a family where his father was African American pioneer. He's the first ever Black assistant coach in the NFL, after having a short NFL football career that got cut short due to injury. First ever.
That's crazy,
in the modern era, in the modern NFL era.
So you mean since the merger? Is that meaning like, okay, since the NFL and AFL merged and the NFL became the NFC, AFL, AFC, and you have so since 67 basically.
Yeah.
Still a long ass time, man.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, his dad was in traction, which that's he's basically locked to a hospital bed for 13 weeks, and bounced back from that and continued on with his career within the coaching ranks. And he is like, it taught him a lot about perseverance and resilience and stuff like that. And he's like, a lot of people looked at this situation, with him taking the job. The Kings didn't have any cap space. They didn't even have a first round draft pick. It looked like a bad job to take or whatever. But he is like, he looks at challenges as, opportunities. He's like, this is something that I don't run away from. And when I started just thinking about, the challenges, I asked him, I was like, well, at what level, like when you start to have success, as he won a championship with the Detroit Pistons in the front office in 2004. And I was like, when you reach that type of level of success, did you feel like, especially coming from, behind your father's shadow, I was like, is that when you felt like you accomplished, you arrived, you were successful? And he was like, well, and this is what I thought was really good for Kings fans. He was like, I know we had success. We won a championship, but he was like, literally after that, the first thing I was thinking is like, how do I do this again? If I go somewhere else, can I do this again? I think that's something that's good with Sacramento. And like from media day through training camp, it's obviously it's preseason and training camp. Everybody always sounds like they're on the same page, but with this, they're all talking about foundational things. Like nobody's thinking too far ahead. Nobody's thinking about playoffs or talking about it at least. But it's all about getting everybody on the same page, and it looks like it's coming from the top and starting with Scott Perry and trickling it on down, and that's what the Sacramento Kings organization need.
The Kings absolutely need positivity like that, man. And again, people can check that out. Sacramento Observer. You published. Is there a video component to it as well? You said you told me this off the before we started recording that you actually sat down with the GM for about an hour. Is there a recording of that, or is it just print?
Just print. Yeah,
all
that's
good,
all we
man.
did.
More people need to read, so I actually like hearing that. I feel like reading is a skill that's just dying, and that's not a good thing for human civilization, in my opinion. So that's your quick sack update. We'll talk a lot more about that. A couple people in the chat, real quick. First of all, Reggie, and you're not the only one clowning our thumbnail, making fun of the images that we posted up on the Golden Day side of Steph, Jimmy, and Giannis, whatever. Look, they're not all winners. What are you going to do? It's a corny pick. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but what are you going to do? But this topic, look, man, and there's a few people in the chat bringing this up. Is Sean one of them saying, can we please talk about Ayesha Curry? And I think he's referencing her interview on I think it's called Call Me Daddy, the podcast that she was on. To answer your question, Sean, no. I'm not talking about it. Frank, do you want to talk about it? Mark?
Hey, I'm a guest on your show, brother. So, wherever you go, that's where we'll go.
We're talking basketball.
I don't have to drive tonight, you know?
It's one of those things where some subjects I think you're just better off not commenting on, right? Like, we don't have to express opinions about every single little thing. And Stephen Curry's family life is one of them. I'm just going to shut up when it comes to that topic. We'll leave it at that. Unless any of you two want to touch on it. I'm not opposed to that, man. I'm not censoring anybody, dude. So any comments, any thoughts? We moving on?
You know, the Kings, they got their first preseason game tomorrow.
Well, the Warriors got their second preseason game tomorrow. And who are the Kings playing tomorrow? What's preseason game number 1 for Sac?
You know, that was weird. They're playing the Toronto Raptors. So the Raptors have to travel all the way over here for a preseason game, which is bizarre. But yeah, they got the Raptors, and you know, I'm very excited about getting a glimpse of what this team could look like. Because I don't know if you guys seen the ranking that why is it? His last name Murray.
Keegan?
No. He's a reporter for the Athletic.
Oh, for the Athletic, Murray.
Yeah, is it the Athletic? I might be butchering it all up wrong, but I'm horrible with names.
What they write about?
But it was rankings of each position, the starter and the backup for the entire NBA or whatnot. And it was really interesting to see, you know, some of the guys that came up. I think they put Jimmy Butler as a power forward, I believe. I believe he was the Warriors starting power forward or something like that. If you ever get a chance, it's very interesting or whatever. But according to his rankings, and I ain't gonna say they all right, and I ain't gonna say they all bad or whatever, but according to his rankings, I think he's supporting what I was saying about the Kings. I think the Kings will surprise some people this year.
Oh, well, we shall see, right? I mean that's the beauty. Frank, what are your quick thoughts on the Sacramento Kings based off their offseason, the moves they made? What is your a preseason prediction for Sac before we shift gears and talk Warriors and NBA?
First question I want to know: do they have their first round pick, or did they lose it with Clifford? Do they have their pick or no?
No, they got. Well, they used it to get Nick Clifford this year.
Yeah. So this coming NBA draft, do they have a pick? Oh, so they had a pick last year.
Yeah, they didn't have one. They had to trade up. They had to trade to get it.
So did they lose any pick moving forward?
No, they're still good. Okay.
Philosophically, internally, and as a fan, the first thing I would want to know is how bad do we want to win? Are we actually focusing success to a number, or do we want to build culture? Because sometimes you can win by losing, and sometimes it takes a year to establish culture. And I think that's actually the most important thing, because they're not winning the championship next year, but I know that Sac crowd. I know how loyal that fan base is. And if you really want to win, they should be above 500 at home, in my opinion. You know, they have to outscore teams. They're not going to beat teams defensively, but they got some scorers on that team. So if they want to win, that needs to be ingrained and that needs to be built via habits.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Defensive habits. So, you know, I just want to know philosophically, if I'm a player, if I'm a fan, if I'm a coach, what is our major plan? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely.
Mark, what's the answer to that? I mean, you covered the team.
No, I think he touched on it right there. Like, I think the win, I think this is a long run plan. I don't think it's an overnight thing. A lot of Kings fans wanted to see more of this offseason, but they were just, you know, it wasn't much you could do without giving up something you really want, something that you see in the future, like a Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray name kept popping up. And it was, you know, they really like him, even though they're, you know, still negotiating his contract or whatever right now. But that he's a piece that they find very valuable to their future. So Scott Perry has talked a lot about just the culture and you know, like I said, the foundation of this team and wanting to create an identity. That's exactly what he's saying. Because you know, that's been the Sacramento Kings problem for years, is that there hasn't been an identity. You know, even when they had the great year with the Beam team, the first Beam team or whatever, that kind of came out of nowhere and it went, you know, just as fast or whatever. So this is, I think, like when they brought in Dennis Schroeder, I think a lot of people are like, it's Dennis Schroeder. He's not, you know, he's not a game changer or whatever. But I do think somebody like Dennis Schroeder is a person that can help shift the culture of the Sacramento Kings. When you think of point guards and being, you know, hard nosed, playing, defending 94 feet. Now you don't have that. The roster is not equipped enough for everybody to, you know, to defend 94 feet, but that's something they want to do. That's something they want to get to. They want to be a team that's going to defend and, you know, score the ball, you know, at a high clip. But they want to be known, just like, you know, the head coach, Doug Christie, they want to be known to be, you know, tough, gritty defenders. So I think this is definitely a long-term, you know, goal and vision that they got going, that this is just year one.
We shall see, man. By the way, look at people riled up about a thumbnail, a YouTube thumbnail. Like this, like the fourth or fifth Scott Santos saying using AI for your thumbnail is lame, bro. He didn't say lame. I added that, but first of all, I put those together in like 5 minutes, especially the ones before the show starts. I'll go just to make people relax and calm down. I'll change it after the show. It is crazy, just a thumbnail. And I didn't even use AI to make it. I think I stole it from someone else who used AI. I don't spend a lot of times on the thumbnails. Forgive me for that. It's insane. Anyways. We'll talk about the Kings again when we get to them in our OU predictions. Real fast, the Golden State Warriors. Actually, even before I touch on that, I want to ask Mark something else real quickly here, because Mark, LeBron James is your boy. You've never been, you've never shied away from your affinity for a player a lot of people call the GOAT, and LeBron. Man, he riled some people up because he had a marketing campaign where, you know, he was hyping up the Decision Part 2. People were legitimately wondering if it was going to be a retirement decision. And of course, it ends up being an ad for Hennessy. Side note, Hennessy, if you missed that show, Mark and I did with the guy tossing the bottle at the car, report in the back, dude. I'm always going to think of Hennessy. When Hennessy's mentioned, I'm always going to think of that dude with the incredible aim, nailing a reporter in the back, tossing it out of the back driver's side, just whoosh with the movie car, and then nail that reporter perfectly in the back, man. We covered that in detail a few weeks back because we're immature children, at least I am. But LeBron James is not retiring. It was an advertisement. I think it pissed a lot of people off, dude. What was your take on LeBron and the Hennessy ad that looked like the Decision Part 2 initially?
I thought it was no way that he was going to announce his retirement. I'm in a group chat with my cousin and friend, And immediately when they seen it, they're sending it to me. They're like, "Do you know anything? What's gonna happen or whatever?" And I was like, I wouldn't. I was like, I wouldn't. I was joking. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he did a whole sit down to say, "You know what? I might retire in like 2 years or whatever." I was like, "It's no way he's gonna say he's gonna retire right now." So when it happened and I seen it or whatever, I was like, "Of course." So I wasn't caught off guard. I wasn't surprised, but I know the whole world, especially Laker Nation, I know they were pissed because I knew some guys that almost had a heart attack.
Mark and Frank, I don't know if you agree with this. I was surprised though to see a lot of Laker fans actually like hoping for him to retire. Like there were a lot of Laker fans. I didn't expect that, man.
It's because of things like this. That's what they're bad at. LeBron is, he's having fun towards the end of his career. Laker fans, just like Warriors fans, are all business when it comes to their team.
Mark, any comments on LeBron fooling a bunch of people with a Hennessy ad?
Yeah, just
No, I'm sorry, Frank.
No,
Did I say Mark? I'm sorry, Frank.
Yeah. I mean, it's typical LeBron. I mean, it really is. I mean, listen, I've been watching basketball a long time. I've never seen a player who likes attention as much as LeBron. I've never seen, and I mean, it's funny and it's ironic because he's literally one of the top 5 players in the history of basketball. But this is what I love about LeBron. LeBron is competitive as you know what. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's going to play real nice in the sandbox this year. And this idea that this is Luka's team, are you kidding me? Luka's not better than LeBron. He's not better than LeBron. I mean, when you walk into a locker room and you got to get your team in order, who do you think you're going to listen to, Luka or LeBron? Mm-hmm. This is crazy. Right. So, LeBron has accomplished everything that this game can offer. Billionaire, 4 chips, the best player at his age in the history of basketball. And he wants to go out like Steph on his own terms. And, there's a bit of LeBron that I think is like, you know what? This might not be my last stop. Mm-hmm. I can tell you this, by reading the tea leaves, he would love to play for the Warriors. I can't see it happening, but he would love to play for the Warriors. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you talk to Steve Kerr, nobody's listening, he would say, well, who are the top 3 players that you love to coach? Steph would be number 1. LeBron, ironically, would be number 2. And
makes sense.
And I'm going to say KD and Draymond are a tie. But did you see how seamless it was to coach LeBron when Curry coached him?
Yep.
It's easy. So
super easy, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it didn't bother me because it's typical LeBron. But I think he's pissed off. I think he's mad.
And it's Frank, it's LeBron's in a position he's never been in his entire long ass career, which is being a player who may not be top, be the top label for his team, right? Like he may not be top billing. I'm sorry for his team. Like the red carpet's being rolled out for Luka more, whether or not he's the best player. The Lakers are treating Luka like the future. And look, part of that could have been that they wanted to secure the contract extension, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they were, acquiescing more than usual, treating him particularly favorably. And then he signs a contract extension and we shall see. But LeBron turning 41 this December, I don't think helps in terms of a team like the Lakers who, they're looking ahead as much as looking at now. But LeBron's never been second fiddle, man, in his entire life, like ever. And now he is. And I'm sure it's a shock to the system for him. But I also feel like you mentioned LeBron playing for the Warriors, and that's a situation he'd probably like. And that's a good transition to this Giannis story that Shams reported today. Because until Shams wrote this piece, it was never really clear whether or not Giannis Antetokounmpo was comfortable with the idea of leaving the Milwaukee Bucks, right? I mean, he's been a lifer there. He won a championship there. So maybe a thirst for more rings was quelled by winning a chip. And so the legacy concerns aren't that important. Anyways, it was a huge mystery, right? Like, does he want to stay there? Is he ready to move on to stay in a winning culture? And that question was answered today. So much so that last month, the Milwaukee Bucks and the New York Knicks were actually having serious discussions about a trade, which is insane. And then you have all these little wrinkles, like the owner of the Bucks, for example, saying that him and Giannis had a good conversation this summer. Then Giannis comes back and says, I don't remember that conversation. like that's not a good look either. So what I'm getting from this, A, is the obvious, which is that Giannis is willing to move on from the Bucks if it means being in a winning environment. And B, this certainly, at least for me, answered the question of who the hell are the Warriors looking at that they insist on Jonathan Kuminga getting this shortened deal that could be so that he could be potentially a trade piece. Like, that question's answered to me now. Like the Warriors clearly want Giannis. Just because the Knicks were the only team that actually were in reported talks doesn't mean the Knicks are the only team. And I know the story said that Giannis pinpointed New York as being the ideal team. But look, man, Jimmy Butler was saying crazy things a few months back about not wanting to play for the Warriors. All of a sudden, he's happy being a Warrior, right? Like, I don't take those kinds of things seriously when we're discussing trades, negotiations. Like, it's all just tactics for people, individuals to get what they want ultimately. And for Giannis, he has said repeatedly that he would love to play with Stephen Curry. He goes out of his way to hang out in San Francisco. He's expressed an adoration for Northern California. So when I saw that news by today, it was clear as light, as sun, as air to me that that what Joe Lacob is dreaming of is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if it means trading a Jonathan Kuminga and a whole bunch of other pieces to get him, so be it. Whether that's realistic in terms of the Bucks agreeing to a deal like that, whether Giannis actually wants to come here, who knows? Something tells me Giannis would be fine with it. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. But it is crazy that we now know that's the target. Frank, I'll start with you, sir, if you don't mind, Mark. Frank, your thoughts on that story that dropped today? I know you got a lot of New York connections, so maybe like you're looking at the Knicks as still being the ideal target. Some people have been mentioning that maybe the Warriors would be the third team in a 3-team deal where Giannis still goes to the Knicks. And then we're talking about, okay, what assets did the Knicks have that the Warriors may want? There may be pieces there. Is there anyone there even worthy of giving up a lot of assets for? That's the talking point. Frank, I'll start with you, man. Your thoughts on this Giannis news and the idea of him maybe going to the Warriors.
Well, I'm not surprised about the discussions because, like Mark said, when you win a championship as an executive, as a player, it doesn't matter. You don't live on that one championship. You want to win again. And having grown up in New York, having had the opportunity to play at Madison Square Garden, I mean, it's like being at the Oscars every night. So that vibe and that feeling, that energy is unmatched. Now, the Warriors would help him become a better basketball player because regardless if he goes to New York, he's never going to be bigger than Jalen Brunson. Never. You got Walt Clyde Frazier, and to me, Patrick Ewing kind of, but Jalen Brunson is turning into that guy. That's his team. I don't think it's ever going to change. The Warriors offer a cerebral approach to basketball that could extend this guy's career by 5 years. Steve Kerr would be around longer. Steph would be playing to at least 40. And the game would be easier because they teach basketball. The Knicks would be like, yo, go get me a bucket. Put 30 and 15 on the board. Golden State's gonna be like, listen, we want to win, but we want to help you become the best player that you can become. With all of the opportunity from the business environment, the lifestyle in the Bay Area, he would absolutely love it here. He really would.
I agree. And Mark, your thoughts on that? And just because Bleav in Kings is half the show, is the idea of Giannis to the Kings a fantasy? Are we going any further than that?
So this what I will say. I don't know. Another report that came out today. This had to be the Antetokounmpo day of just news or whatever. His wife Mariah reportedly moved to Greece with the family. She's out the way, so she's
Wait,
there.
what'd you just say? You said you side with Ayesha Curry? Is that what you just said? That's heavy. Well,
I said Greece, but she moved. Her and the kids moved to Greece. But the one place, where Mariah is from. She's from my hometown, Fresno, California.
No shit. All right.
Wow.
But so California, there's a tie to California. So I would have to say that any California team, maybe the Warriors or the leading California team that have a chance at getting Giannis, but I would have to say with depending on what his wife wants, especially they have a growing family or whatever, a California team makes a lot of sense for Giannis and his family. So the Warriors, I could see that being a real shot, real thing. Even though New York is always going to be enticing with the type of marketing you could get out there. But like you said earlier, that's Jalen Brunson's team. You come to the Warriors, as although Steph may play, 5, 6, however many more years he may play, the plan would obviously be to pass the torch over to Giannis if Giannis came to the Warriors. So like it definitely makes a lot of sense. It's another great marketing city. It's a lot of opportunities there, but I think that California tie, I think that may play a role in his decision.
And again, there's 4 teams in California, dude. Like all we're doing is talking Northern. I mean, there's also the Clippers and the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers. I mean, you can never rule them out of anything, right? And 2 years from now, a year from now, suddenly you're talking about pairing Luka and Giannis together. I mean, it's who knows what the end result will be from this. The only hope I have is that Joe Lacob is not putting all his marbles in on that one player, thinking that they have a shot, man. Look, the Warriors are not a notorious free agent destination. I know during the dynasty they got KD, which was huge, Andre Iguodala early on, but typically free agents look at other places when they're making choices. Never mind the fact that Stephen Curry's turning 38 this year, and I think that does play a part in terms of Giannis's mindset in terms of where he wants to go next, but we shall see, man. And I thought that was pretty wild, though. If you're the Bucks, I mean, you're panicking, right? I mean, I think you got to seriously start looking at trades. I mean, you don't want to lose Giannis for nothing. He's a restricted or unrestricted free agent next offseason, I believe. He's got 2 years left, if I'm not mistaken. I hope. Anyways, any final thoughts on Giannis before we talk OUs?
Generational player, winner, plays hard. But at this stage of his career, I think he should be even better. I mean, particularly like in the fundamentals. I mean, the free throw shooting, the definitive shot, he doesn't really have that. So he plays a lot on athleticism. There's a lot to work with. I love watching him play. But I think from a skill development perspective, I think just playing in this environment or another environment might help him out more.
And real quick, let's say the Warriors become the 3rd team in a deal that sends Giannis to the Knicks. The only player, I'm looking at the Knicks roster right now, and the only players that move the needle for me, excuse me, in a hypothetical trade scenario like that, where you're giving up assets like maybe a Kuminga, maybe a Moody, maybe a Podziemski, the Knicks don't really have a lot that excite me. I mean, Mikal Bridges would be one. But again, Mikal Bridges excites me much more so as a complementary role player, not as a centerpiece. Like Kuminga, we still don't know what his potential is. He could be a centerpiece. He could be someone who's one of your top dogs going into the next generation of your team. I don't know if you could say that about Mikal Bridges. I do think he's an awesome role player. I would never complain having him on my team, but he's closer to 30 than 20. And I just don't know if that would be a worthwhile trade for the Warriors. The only other name I saw, Desirio in the chat bring up OG Anunoby. I don't know if I'd give up a Kuminga for him either. Again, maybe, but I don't know, man. Frank, anybody in the Knicks excite you if in case the Warriors end up being like a 3rd team?
I mean, Cat is the guy. I mean, because he has the upside. I mean, we can look at him and be reasonably disappointed that he hasn't gotten to that next level. But the level that he's at is pretty damn good. This guy is literally one of the best, top 7 centers in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I would even say, watching him play, I think that he needs better coaching. When I watch him as somebody who coaches big men and coaches everybody, I think I can help him become a better player, because there are things that fundamentally he's not doing, particularly defensively. Yeah. And I got a problem with that, because a lot of times really talented players and coaches in general get jobs simply based on who you know, and not necessarily because you're excellent in any particular skill set. So I think he can get better. I would love to kind of watch that whole process and see where I really think he can make a definitive leap, because I think he's a pretty good player.
I don't doubt that,
but he's good.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. Important to note, too, what I'm factoring in with all this discussion is age. Karl Anthony Towns turns 30 this year. Mikal Bridges just turned 29, so he'll be 30 before next season starts. So these aren't like exactly I guess spring chicken is something we're not supposed to say anymore, but they're not exactly bouncy young things like they used to be. Mark, anybody in the Knicks sound good? I know we're talking Warriors real fast, but is there anyone in the Knicks that you would look at and think, yeah, I'd give up Kuminga and Moody for him? Yeah, I'd give up Kuminga and Pajemski for him. Is there anyone in the Knicks that excites you in that regard? Or no? I don't know.
No, I'm saying,
why your lighting, by the way? Why'd you get darker all of a sudden?
It was my laptop. It was dying on me. But I was wondering if I could get away with it.
You can, but I noticed. Sorry about that. Sorry to
but no,
my apologies.
I love Kuminga or whatever. So if I'm the Warriors and I'm looking at a situation where I want to be involved with the Knicks, I gotta have Cat. Yeah, like OG's a good player, Mikal Bridges, good players, but give me Cat, because I need a guy that, just in case Kuminga turns into what I think he potentially could be, I need something in return, and that's something over there in New York is Cat.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But by the way, Mark, did you get a chance to watch the Warriors preseason opener?
I did not.
So you didn't get a chance to see Moses Moody look. I know it's just the preseason, but players take leaps, man. And everyone routinely highlights how young Jonathan Kuminga is. Moses Moody's only like a few months younger. He's 23 years old, and this could be a leap year for him. Frank, did you get a chance to see that game?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
I mean, he was awesome. I mean, as big a fan as I am of Kuminga, the basketball player, I'm a bigger fan of Moses Moody, the person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so happy for him, man, because he clearly has been able to deal with adversity, get in the gym. He has an excellent support system. I just hope that it happens for him this year, because he's a great guy, man. I love it.
Yeah.
And AK bringing the cynicism, maybe a reality check, I don't know, saying that Moses Moody balled out in that first game because they played against the Lakers scrubs. Who knows? But I will say this, man. People are correct in the sense that the Lakers did not play LeBron. They didn't play Luka or Austin Reeves, and that's just off memory. I'm sure they benched other guys as well. But those reserves who did play for the Lakers, they were playing their asses off because they're playing for minutes. They're playing for that next contract. So even though they're tryhards, they're still trying hard. And I think that deserves at least acknowledgement in that game, even though, yes, the Lakers. Do you guys like that strategy? Because on one hand, the Warriors, and all reports are indicating that the veterans are going to play more in preseason game number 2 tomorrow night. We will go live immediately following that game here for Golden Days. For a post-game show, the vets are expected to even ramp up their minutes. I think they had a 15-minute limit, and that limitation applied to Steph, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, Al Horford, and supposedly that restriction is going to be increased. I don't know what the new figure is, but I like what the Warriors' mentality there, right? They're building up the players' conditioning, building up chemistry, helping them get a better feel for the game as we approach the regular season. Then you have the Lakers approach, which is preseason means nothing. Our stars are going to rest. Mark, I'll start with you. Which approach do you like better, and what do you expect from the Kings tomorrow night?
No, I definitely like the Warriors' approach to, kind of ramp things up with the guys, especially having a bunch of, veterans on the team or whatever. Obviously, you could look at it as the preseason doesn't mean anything, but conditioning means everything. And that's what they're getting out there.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure the Laker players are getting it in somehow, but it's not the same as, game speed. And in a tough Western Conference, soon as game one of the regular season, hits, you're gonna need to get off on a good start. Like if you get a slow start in the first, 5 to 10 games, that could change a season in the Western Conference. So I definitely like the Warriors approach. I think the Kings will do, I think the Kings starters will play, probably more than 15 minutes. I could see them playing a whole half, especially being that they don't know what they have right now, so they have to see it. They have to figure things out so they can be ready for game one of the regular season. So I expect, I haven't spoke with anybody or asked anybody. I wasn't at practice today because that would have been a great question. But I would expect to see most of the starters for at least a half.
Okay. I just love that basketball's back. Frank, which approach do you like better as a former D1 player, sir?
I love competition, so I like the Warriors approach.
Me too.
I don't like giving anybody minutes. And I think this idea that we have these guys and those guys, that really doesn't work on a team. And I also think that there's some self-assessing going on with Steve Kerr, because as great a coach as Kerr is, he heard the whispers about his favorites and players that he doesn't like. And I think that has something to do with the fact that he hasn't been given an extension yet. I think that they'll work that out. But Joe Lacob is a basketball guy. Mm-hmm. And he has a lot of basketball people around. You got Stackhouse. You got former coaches. So if you are going to have a coaching staff and an honest conversation about the game and about how you move forward, and you got future Hall of Famers on your team, you got to step your game up. This roster needs to play itself out and not be, and minutes can't be distributed based on who cuts at the right position, who you like. So they got a bunch of guys who can play NBA basketball, and I think that process is unfolding before our eyes, and Kerr is kind of figuring that stuff out. That's why he's playing these guys.
Yeah, well said. And following up on that, Steve Kerr with the media tour after the season ended, because I do think he felt a need to defend himself based off those minutes and those decisions. And Joe Lacob is a basketball guy. He loves the sport. So does Peter Goober, who is a Hollywood producer, but he loves his hoops as well. Joe Lacob's son, Kirk, played on Stanford's team as a walk-on. I mean, but just the ability to make that team, you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta know the sport at least not a little bit, quite a bit, to play for Stanford. And then like Del Harris's son is one of the assistant GMs. Mike Dunleavy Jr. is the GM. He's got a lot of basketball people surrounding him. How awesome with it. What happened to you, Mark? What's going on?
I have no idea.
What happened to you, man? Hold on. I can't fix that. There we go.
Yeah.
And now you're sideways.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Let's go over unders. Let's get through the rest of the association. In terms of wins and losses, 2 weeks ago we did part one. And we're doing this by division. So in part, 2 weeks ago when we did this, let me get my standings, my divisions up. I don't see I lost my divisions. Well, anyways, we did the Southeast, we did the Central, and we did the Southwest. Does that sound right to you guys? Are those the three that we did?
I think so.
I think. Hold on. I lost the page that I had. Give me 1 second here to get my standings back. And I can tell everybody what we did. Here we go. Okay. So we took care of the Central Division, the Southeast Division, and the Southwest. We did do the Southwest because we did OUs for the Rockets, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Spurs, and Pelicans. Side note, before we continue with this exercise and do the other 15 teams, I watched some clips of Cooper Flagg in his debut yesterday, his preseason debut. This kid is still 18 years old, and I'm ready to say he's the guy that's going to save the NBA, meaning 5-10 years from now, when this league is going to need star power to sustain it, he's going to be the star. And more specifically, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, but I feel like that star needs to be American. Internationally, the NBA is thriving. Dude, you leave America and people love their NBA. They're watching it. It's no surprise. So much talent is coming from Europe and Asia and South America and all these places. Here in the U.S., where our attention spans are far shorter than anywhere else, and we're the hardest to please. I think that's a safe assumption to make. The NBA is not exploding in popularity like it once was. And I think a huge part of that is star power and the lack of it. Stephen Curry's turning 38 this year. LeBron James is turning 41. Kevin Durant's turning, I think, 38 as well. And those are your three biggest stars still. Like those are your ratings grabbers. And so the future looks a little suspicious, if you will. Like Victor Wembanyama could be a megastar, but let's not pretend he's not the French Slender Man, right? And I don't know how much that appeals. Sorry for this slight there, but look, I don't know how much that's going to appeal to. That's not a racial thing, is it? Please forgive me. I hope I didn't say anything. Okay, good. So anyways, I don't think a Frenchman is the one that's going to be saving the day for NBA basketball in the U.S. Luka Doncic. I mean, look, the guy. He loves his cheeseburgers and lung darts, and he's Eastern European. And I just don't know if these guys are going to be it. Cooper Flagg, I don't know if you guys saw that game. It's just one game. At 18 years of age, he already looked like the best basketball player in the court. Side note, Anthony Davis looked phenomenal as well. The Mavericks, man, it's only one preseason game, but sometimes that's all it takes to see what the product is. I can't remember what I bet in terms of the OU, but I want to revisit that really quickly because their over-under is 41.5. And I'm so emphatic now with the over. I'm calling that a lock. Do either one of you two want to revise that? And is there anything else you saw between 2 weeks ago and today that makes you rethink some of the teams we looked at? Frank, I'll start with you, sir.
I know I picked the over. I don't know what I picked, but I know I picked the over because I know J. Kidd a little bit, and playing against him and being around him, he's going to push those guys to the limit. They got Hall of Famers on that team, man. So they're going to be a problem. Dallas is going to be a problem.
Agreed. And I forgot that D'Angelo Russell was there, who I normally wouldn't think of as a positive, but he was actually playing the point guard position naturally. All he was doing was distributing. It freaked me out seeing that Mavericks team because suddenly they look really good. Mark, what are your thoughts?
I think they are really good. I think easily it's going to be over with them. I got to see Cooper Flagg at Summer League, and you can see it. Like when you talk about star power or whatever, you talk about a guy that plays basketball the right way, and then he gets to come up in a situation where he gets to learn from guys like Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and things of that nature or whatever. So I think Dallas is a perfect fit for him. And when we have that question that we have every basketball season of who's going to be the next American face of the league, a lot of people, say Anthony Edwards, Ja Morant name will pop up. Cooper Flagg is going to be right up there with them.
Yes, he is. Dude, this kid, I'm so bitter that the Mavericks just got him. Just handed to him on a platter. The Lakers got Luka Doncic handed to him on a platter. It disturbs me, man. That feeling's never gonna go away. It's bullshit, is what it is, man. They just got gifted generational talent. It's absurd, man. The city of Dallas, bravo for winning the lottery there. Anyway, so I saw those highlights, and I even posted on my social media, one of my social media handles, the whole highlight package of that first game. He's going to be a star. It's no doubt in my mind. He's going to be one of the all-timers someday sooner than later. He's only 18. Jesus Christ. Anyways, gentlemen, if you don't mind, we're going to start with the Atlantic Division in the East. and then we'll be finished with the East, and then we'll do the final 10 teams in the West. The Atlantic Division, and I'll share my screen for each of these transactional pages so everyone can see what these teams did this offseason. So the Celtics did not re-sign anybody. They did add Chris Boucher. I love that addition. They also added or re-signed Luka Garza, Josh Minott, and Anthony Simons was acquired in a trade. Actually, I don't think Luka Garza was on the team last year. I apologize. Was he? Was Luka Garza on the team last year? Because it calls him
Minnesota. He was in Minnesota.
Okay, thank you. He was in Minnesota last year. Okay, so no re-signings. That's who they added. They lost Drew Holiday. He went to the Trailblazers. Al Horford went to the Warriors. Luke Cornett went to the Spurs. Georges Niang went to the Jazz. And Kristaps Porzingis was traded, I believe, to the Atlanta Hawks. J.D. Davidson was also lost via waiver. The OU for the Celtics, who did lose Jason Tatum, which is a substantial loss, although there were some reports indicating that he could come back this year, which is insane. But the OU for the Boston Celtics, the over-under 41.5 wins. Mark, I will start with you. Are the Celtics going to be an over or under team? And this time I have all the depth charts as well. So if you have any questions about any of these teams, hit me up and I'll answer it for you. But otherwise, your thoughts, sir. 41.5 for the Celtics.
I think 41.5. I'm taking over on that. I'm taking over with Boston. That still, with Jason Tatum out, Jaylen Brown is going to have something to prove. This is going to be his opportunity to really show that he could lead, to show that he deserved that Finals MVP that he won during their championship. But I do think this team is good enough to win more than 41 games in the Eastern Conference. If it was the West, I would go the other way. But being that it's the East, I'm going over.
I hear you on that. And Frank, I'm gonna add something that we didn't do last show. I'm gonna add the starting five for each team. Mark, sorry for not giving you this before you gave your prediction. The starting five for the Celtics this upcoming season projected to be Derek White, Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, and Neemias Queta. Peyton Pritchard comes off the bench for him. Chris Boucher comes off the bench for him. They also have Xavier Tillman coming back. Hugo Gonzalez, Josh Minott. Frank, over under 41.5. Your prediction?
Strong under. Just listen to you naming those players. I don't see enough defenders.
Yeah.
And when you are going to struggle offensively because the court's going to lean towards White and towards Jaylen Brown, it's going to be tough, particularly on the road. At home, they can get hot and make some shots. I think they'll play hard. They're well coached. They got culture. But I see them probably winning somewhere between 34 and 37 games. I don't see them winning half.
I'm going to lean under. I feel like this is a bet that you just don't put money down on because I really have no clue what's going to happen here. I'm going under on that one. Mark, you got the over. Frank's got the under as well. Next team is the New York Knicks, who we talked about extensively at the start of the show. I forgot to mention last year's win-loss total. Last year, the Celtics won 61 games. But again, that Jason Tatum injury playing a huge part. The New York Knicks won 51 games last year. They re-signed Mikal Bridges. They added Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Clarkson, Ev Buwam-Wan. I hope I pronounced that right. I've never heard of that guy. And then Gershon Yabusele. They lost Precious Achiuwa in free agency to the Miami Heat. I love the additions they made, especially Jordan Clarkson and Yabusele and Brogdon. Gives them depth, something they missed a year ago. The over-under for the New York Knicks for this upcoming season is 52.5. The Knicks won 51 games last year. Frank, I'll start with you. Over or under?
I'm going to go over. I think they'll probably win 53 or 54. It's going to be tight, but I think they're a better team. I think the week is not as strong. So I think that they'll win more than 52.
Nice. Mark?
And I'm going to stick with going opposite again. I'm going to go under, even though I'm really, really big on the Knicks. But I in my mind, before you even said it, I had them at 51. So I think they'll win 51-50 games.
So you're going under.
I'm going under just because I already had a number in my head or whatever.
I like
so I'm
it.
sticking with it.
It's a good strategy. I respect that. I think Frank rolls with that same approach as well. I forgot to mention the starters and the depth chart. So for the Knicks, real fast, Jalen Brunson. Frank, you mentioned New York's boy. He's your starting point guard. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson, who's actually healthy to start a season. I can't remember the last time that happened. That's your starting five. Miles McBride, Jordan Clarkson, Yabusele, Malcolm Brogdon. That's your bench. Oh, and Landry Shamet is still on this team, so that's your bench. I'm going to roll over as well. I'm going to roll with Frank on this one, and a huge reason why I think so is because it's the East, and a team like the Knicks in the Eastern Conference, man, they could run roughshod over a lot of these weaker teams. So I'm going to lean over, and so I'm over. Frank is over. Mark under for the New York Knicks. Next up in the Atlantic Division, the Toronto Raptors. Let me scroll down to Toronto, and that team is currently here in Northern California right now. Blessings upon blessings to the Kings for not having to make that trip. At least Toronto had to come all the way here, Mark. Saves a lot of energy. They re-signed Jakob Poeltl, a player that I feel like the Raptors are the only ones who value him as much as they do. He gets a 4-year extension. Garrett Temple comes back. They added Maluka Shvili, I hope I pronounced that right, to a 2-year deal, and they lost Chris Boucher. A year ago, the Toronto Raptors had a 30-52 record. Their starting lineup for this upcoming season. Let me just pull that up. I apologize for lagging here. And I'm actually curious because I would not be able to answer this off memory. Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram. Congratulations on winning the lottery, sir, to you. Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl is your starting five. Coming off the bench, players include Grady Dick, Jamal Shad, and that's about it. The over-under for your Toronto Raptors is 38.5. I definitely know where I'm going to go with this. Whose turn is it? Mark, over-under. 38.5 for the Toronto Raptors.
With the healthy Brandon Ingram, I'm taking the over on that. I'm taking the over.
All right.
I got him. If Brandon Ingram plays 70% of the games, I got them winning 41.
Fascinating. Wait, no, not allowed. You do that. I meant this. All right. Frank Red, sir, 38.5, the over-under for your Toronto Raptors.
I'm going to go over also. They're one of the better home teams. When teams got to go travel to another country, that's a little extra might. They got good players. Mark, I think you're right. I see them winning around 41, 42 games.
And that customs experience is not for everyone, man. And that's what you have to do to play in Toronto. Some players end up getting left behind. Rare, but an actual occurrence that happens on occasion. I'm going to bet the under, man. I know it's the East, but this dude, they didn't do anything from a year ago. I guess my question to either of you in terms of, because both of you bet the over on 38.5, I'm going under. And I know they added Brandon Ingram, so that was a pretty big addition there. But why do you think this team's going to improve by 9 games from a year ago? At least. Mark, I'll start with you.
Well, mine, it starts right there with Brandon Ingram. Like RJ Barrett, he had a solid year last year. It was like a coming out year, but I think that's been Brandon Ingram's, MO as far as like when you look at what he did in New Orleans, when he played, it was the same thing over there, injuries and stuff like that. But when he played, he was able to. He's a guy that has his game. He has star quality in his game, and he's a guy that can really control the pace of a game. And I think when you add that to this Raptors team who won, what you said, 32, 34 last year?
30.
Oh, 30, excuse me. 30, yeah.
It's okay.
But
that's a huge reason why I'm going under, because I saw that 30 and I'm like, ooh, Like,
yeah,
seriously.
but I really think Brandon Ingram is that good. I think he's good enough to get them to about even.
Respect. Anything you want to add to that, Frank, before we move on?
I mean, I just agree with that. I also think that they have an excellent coach, and they got multiple, they have multiple defenders. They lost a lot of close games last year, and Ingram's going to be the guy to finish some games offensively for them. So I think they're better than people think they are.
We shall see, man. Yeah. So we got so no unanimous bets yet for the OUs. Both of you taking the over for the Raptors, and I'm taking the under just because, again, they won 30 last year. The OU's 38.5. I don't see where they're going to improve by 9 games, but again, I could be wrong, and I'm certainly not making that a lock. Next up in the Atlantic Division is a team that might be the worst in the NBA. They have a GM who I have no idea why or how he still has his job, outside of the fact that he's probably just an extension of the owner, and the 2 words he says repeatedly that keeps his job is yes, sir. And I'm referring to what's his name? The New Zealand guy, Sean Marks, right? So the Brooklyn Nets, let me scroll up to their transactional page. They made a lot of changes this offseason. Here they are. So they re-signed Duron Sharp. They re-signed Cam Thomas. And Cam Thomas is back on the qualifying offer. Very curious to see how that transpires. And they re-signed Zaire Williams. They added Kobe Buffkin in a trade. They added Haywood Highsmith, Terrence Mann, and maybe the biggest name they added this offseason was Michael Porter Jr., a trade that to me made no sense for the Brooklyn Nets. They lost Ebuwan. I feel like this is the second time I've said his name. Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, and Trendon Watford. There we go. So the depth chart for the Brooklyn Nets this coming season, their starters are Igor Demon, no clue who that is, Cam Thomas, Terrence Mann, Michael Porter Jr., and Nick Claxton. Zaire Williams is expected to come off the bench. Same with Noah Clowney. Same with Duron Sharp. Last year, the Nets were 26-56. So 26 wins a year ago. They're over under 20.5. That's very low. Frank, how are the Brooklyn Nets going to do this year?
I think they'll win about 26 games again.
Okay, so over.
I'm gonna take the over.
All right, Mark.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under with Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast career being like off the chart next season. But I'm going under.
He's a character, dude. He's a character. If you just pay attention to Michael Porter Jr. in every media clip, like it's just absurdity, man. It never stops. He just has no filter. Did you ever see that clip from him? And this was back when he was in Denver, where he's getting his car towed, and the tow truck driver is recording the whole conversation. Did you ever see that?
I didn't see that.
It's vaguely remember.
Look it up if in case you've forgotten or you haven't seen it. It's comedy, man. The guy is a laugh. Anyways, I'm going to go under, despite the fact that 20.5 is super low. I'm going to bet the under in that one. I just think Brooklyn is a horrible team. I don't see how they're going to win really any games. I know they'll win some, but I just have no respect for them. I don't. So again, Frank, you bet the over. Mark, you went under, correct?
Yes.
So 2 unders and an over for the Brooklyn Nets. And we round things off with the Philadelphia 76ers, one of the more fascinating NBA teams, just because of the endless injury drama surrounding this team, especially with their center, Joel Embiid. There we go. They re-signed Justin Edwards, Eric Gordon, Quentin. Did Quentin Grimes get re-signed? Is that?
Yes.
I didn't hear about that. Did you guys hear about that? Is that over?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
What did
he sign for?
Offer,
was it a
right?
QO?
Qualifying.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Philly's dumb. So they're just going to lose him for nothing after this year. Well, I didn't hear about that. So, and then what do you guys think about that? Any thoughts? Because to me, Grimes could be a very good player, and you're on the verge of losing him for nothing now because you let him sign the qualifying offer. I don't support that. What do you guys think? Mark, I'll start with you.
All right, well, no, I'm I'm not sold on Grimes. I think he has, tremendous potential or whatever, and I'm assuming that's how they feel about him.
Yeah,
But I don't when I see like, what was the names? It was four of them at one time. It was Grimes, Thomas, Kuminga, and
Josh
Giddey.
Giddey.
And
Yeah.
Giddey,
correct.
yeah. I don't look at Grimes in the same way I look at Kuminga or even a Giddey to
That's
to
fair.
to an
That's
extent.
fair.
So I mean, it's a ballsy move. I can't blame him for it or whatever,
Yeah.
whatnot. And I think I think it worked out how if I was the GM, I think I might have went that way too.
Frank, any thoughts on Quentin Grimes getting the QO? I missed that news item entirely.
I think you don't pay 6'4" shooting guards who don't defend at a high level a whole lot of money. I think if he has a good year, he has a potential to get a mid-level extension next year, which is good money.
Yeah, it is.
4 years, $48 million, something like that. So I think the onus is on him to go out and play well to prove that his lack of defense can be shadowed by his superior offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we shall see. And he's clearly going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder now because he's playing for a contract. Philadelphia a year ago won just 24 games, but again, they dealt with this ton of injuries, not just to Joel Embiid, but Paul George missed a lot of the season. The over-under for the Philadelphia 76ers, again, a team that won just 24 last year, the OU is 42.5. The depth chart, when you hear this, you understand why the OU is as high as it is. But again, injuries play a huge part with this team. Tyrese Maxey's your starting point guard. Quentin Grimes. Guys, we got to talk about this name real fast. VJ Edgecombe. Another guy who, again, very small sample size. One preseason game is all I watched, and it was enough for me to get excited, man. The Sixers really landed a gem with this player, I think. Frank, have you had a chance to watch Edgecombe play yet?
Watched him quite a bit last year in college at Baylor. Watched him in the summer league. Know his history at Long Island Lutheran. Yeah, man, good guy. Hard player. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be a solid player. He's like Andrew Toney 2.0, man. That's what he is. Yeah,
that's a bold comparison because Andrew Toney, in case people are not familiar, damn good player.
Yeah.
Damn good player. Mark, have you had a chance to see Edgecombe?
Yeah, I got to see him in summer league as well, and I was impressed. I like the way, he looks like a basketball player. Like he looks like somebody that's ready, somebody that's competitive as heck. Like I really like. I think this draft is got a lot of guys that really can go and really can turn into something as long as they stay on track, and he's one of those guys.
He looks amazing. The Sixers for that bad season a year ago, that was their reward, and what a reward that was. Rounding out the starting five, Paul George, who might make it to opening day. He has not played in the preseason yet. And then Joel Embiid, whose injury status is just one of the saddest things, man, because when he's healthy, he dominates. But that health factor is such a huge if. He might also be available for opening day. We don't know. But nonetheless, that's your starting five. Coming off the bench for him, Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, Kelly Oubre Jr., who also I think revealed this offseason he's a huge mountain biker, and Justin Edwards comes off the bench. And I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Andre Drummond trying to pull a Steph Curry, dropping threes and turning around before the ball goes in. The ball did not go in, by the way, so it was an awful look for him. But Andre Drummond, Frank, I'll start with you. I'm sorry if I got the order mixed up, but 42.5 for the Philadelphia 76ers. Over or under?
I'm going to go over just because of all that talent is playing. They're going to definitely win more than half their games. I'm going to go
over. Mark?
I'm going over as well. Paul George, he came from Fresno State. I'm predicting a healthy year. I roll with my Fresno people. So I'm going to over.
I hear you on that. I feel like none of these teams in the Atlantic Division I feel good about. Like every one of these selections that I've made, don't put money on it based off what I say because these OUs are iffy. The bookies did a damn good job setting up lines that could go either direction. And I'm not predicting jack shit when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. If they're healthy, they could be damn good, but they could also have another injury-riddled season. I mean, Tyrese Maxey hasn't even proven he can be durable. And we all know the story about Joel Embiid, Paul George. And I'm going to bet the under just because I don't think they can stay on the floor enough to put together an above 500 season. So we were not unanimous on any of those 5 Atlantic Division teams. Both of you gentlemen bet the over. I bet the under on Philadelphia at 42.5. And that's it for the East. Any final thoughts on the Eastern Conference, on the Atlantic Division, gentlemen? Either of you have any final thoughts before we bid adieu and focus strictly on the West?
No, I'm all good.
All right. 2 divisions remaining, and we'll go to the Northwest Division in the Western Conference. We'll save the Pacific for last, obviously. And the Northwest Division has the OKC Thunder in it. Make sense. They're in there largely because of the Seattle Supersonics. OKC is your reigning world champion. They won 68 games a season ago, and they might be better this year. Could be. You never know. This is a young team that now has championship experience, and if they can match the hunger, I think there's an excellent shot of them repeating. There hasn't been a repeat champion since 2018. They re-signed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to a 4-year extension, Chet Holmgren to a 5-year extension, Asia Mitchell 3-year deal, Jalen Williams both getting extensions, one for 5 years, one for 3 years. They added nobody, and they lost Dylan Jones in a trade with the Wizards. So they're basically coming back the same. And a year ago, the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. The OKC Thunder won 68 games last year. They were 68-14. The over-under, actually, before I read that, real quick, their starting lineup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let me pull that up. Here it is. So they're starting 5, obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hardenstein round off your starting 5. Cason Wallace, who, side note, Cooper Flagg, that's who was defending him, and Flagg was still putting up points. One of the many impressive things about Flagg, Cason Wallace is part of the Thunder. Same with Alex Caruso, Aaron Wiggins, the other Jalen Williams. Anyone I'm forgetting? Isaiah Joe. I think that's everyone. So the OU for the OKC Thunder, Mark, we'll start with you, is 62.5. They won 68 last year. Your thoughts?
Like you said, man, this team is so deep. You was like, I think that's all they got. And you're probably wrong because they always have, it seems like they're like able to go, 12 deep or whatnot. But 62, I'm going over. I was going to be modest and say under and cap them at 60. But I think they're the team to beat again. I think they're the best team in the NBA. I think they'll have the number 1 record in the NBA. So I'm going to take the over.
Frank?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over as well. I'm surprised that it's that low. But
yeah.
I'm going to take the over. They got the kid Sorber, a rookie out of Georgetown that they got hurt, 6'10", who's also a really good player. So they're good. They're good.
They are good. They're scary. And again, the difference that you folks will notice between the East and West will just be more and more stark with each team. I'm also going to bet the over. This is our first unanimous selection. I don't feel great about it, but 62.5, consider they won 68 a year ago. Adding a year of experience to a young team that just won a championship, I don't see a big drop off, and that's what would have to happen for them to get the under. So all 3 of us going with the over there. The next team in the Northwest Division, the Denver Nuggets. Huge drop-off, right? I'm being facetious saying that. This is the West for you, man. It's insane. The Denver Nuggets, let me go up to their team in terms of transactions for the visual here, and hopefully for the podcast audience, we are doing a good enough job for each of you. They re-signed nobody, but the free agent additions I thought were huge. Bruce Brown comes back to the team. He was on the championship version of the Nuggets. They added Tim Hardaway Jr. They added Cam Johnson in a trade with Brooklyn where they gave up Michael Porter Jr. And they added Jonas Valanciunas, who I believe was with the Sacramento Kings last year. They lost Michael Porter Jr. and maybe the biggest loss of all, Dario Saric. I don't know how they're going to recover from that. The Sacramento Kings struck gold. So Saric is gone. Now, those are your additions and subtractions. And yes, I'm being facetious, obviously, saying that. Their lineup this upcoming season for the Denver Nuggets in terms of starters and who's on their depth chart include, here it is right here. Sorry for lagging on this part. Their starting five is going to be Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, who is dealing with an injury right now, and he should be fine by the season opener, I believe, and Nikola Jokic. That is your starting five. Side note, while we have Jokic's name on the show, important to note that Jokic said in an interview this offseason he wants to be a Nugget for life. So unlike Giannis Antetokounmpo, who wants to play for winners, Jokic seems content staying with the Denver Nuggets, which does ruin plans of teams who maybe were eyeing him in 2027 when he was potentially going to be an unrestricted free agent. Bruce Brown comes off the bench, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, Jonas Valanciunas, Tim Hardaway Jr., Najee, if it might get some run as well coming off the bench, and Kessler Edwards. That is the bench for the Denver Nuggets. The OU for Denver is 54.5. Last year, the Nuggets won 50. Their OU went up by 4.5. 54.5. Frank, over, under, and why?
I'm going to say under, slightly under, because the West is just so competitive. I don't love their depth. I do love their starting five, but I don't love their depth. But I think they'll be good. But I see them probably winning 52, 53 games, not 54.
And that's a good argument to make for betting the under. 54.5 is a lot in a very competitive Western Conference. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the under as well. Like, I think that 52 range is fair. I just like, this is Western Conference. I know early on we probably, in the last episode, we probably gave away some 50s, early on.
Yeah.
So it's like they can't keep coming. And Denver, I think, is one of those teams that, I'm not going to question Joker's hunger to win.
Yeah.
But I do think, with him saying he's a lifer in Denver or whatever, I think he's just comfortable in the position he's in.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how much that's going to impact them winning or not, but because he's the best player in the world right now. But I got him around that 52 range.
So another unanimous selection for all three of us. I'm also betting the under, and just piggybacking off what you gentlemen said. The Nuggets are not a team with full of young players who are just going to be lighting it up in the regular season. This is a team with one singular focus: championship. So they're going to be eyeing the postseason as the real season, and that may mean important players being benched. Jamal Murray is someone I'm particularly a lot of games over the years because of injuries. I could see them resting him a lot this coming season. So I'm with you guys. I think the under is the bet there. 54.5 is a high number for a team that won 50 a year ago. And then watch the Nuggets prove all of us wrong and win 60 this season. That they could easily do that as well. But all three of us going under. Continuing in a stacked Northwest division is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let me get to their transaction page here. So Minnesota, here we go, re-signed Joe Ingles. They re-signed Julius Randle, and they re-signed Naz Reid. They added Johnny Juzang, and they lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Garza, and Josh Minott. Is it Minott or Minot? I think it's Minott. their depth chart this coming season. Mike Conley still starting, and that's a concern, man. That dude is starting to age, and I thought he showed it a little bit a season ago, but he's penned in as the starting point guard alongside Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and the new bald Rudy Gobert. Rob Dillingham, I don't know how big of a role he's going to have this upcoming season. He comes off the bench alongside Dante DiVincenzo. I don't know much about Terrence Shannon Jr., but he's expected to have a role. Naz Reid comes off the bench for the T-Wolves as well. A year ago, Minnesota won 49 games, so it may or may not surprise you that their OU this season is 49 and a half. Frank, I'll start with you, sir. Is it over or under for the Minnesota Timberwolves, 49 and a half the number?
Over, slightly over, which means they'll win 51 games. Yeah, I mean, they're just a veteran team. They don't have to figure out how to play with each other. Conley Jr. is a little old in the tooth. I don't know if it's an analogy or not, but they're a good team. They know their roles. They're well coached. Ant-Man's going to get better. I like them. So I see them winning around 51 games.
I like it, Mark.
Yeah, I hate to disagree with that because I'm a big Edwards fan, but it's not really a disagreement. It's one of those ones where if I'm putting my money down, I probably wouldn't bet on this, but I'm gonna go under. I think they'll get to 48. I feel like Minnesota, similar to last year, if I remember correctly, they kind of get off to slow starts, and I think that can happen again. But at some point, Edwards is going to turn on that switch and and take off from there. So I think they'll get about 48. So I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mark, in the sense that I would not bet this at all. Like because you're right. A year ago, they did have a slow start. They were pretty much on par with the Warriors most of the season record wise, and at the very end, Minnesota kind of broke off a little bit, and the Warriors ended up being a playing team. 49 and a half, man. That is a coin toss. So Frank, you said over, right? And Mark, you said under?
Yeah.
Yep.
God damn. I mean, the only thing I could say is like don't bet it. I'm gonna say over, but just because I'm flipping a coin. And Anthony Edwards, I could see a leap from him this season. He's so good, dude. I'm gonna bet over, but I'm not feeling great about that. Sorry, were you gonna say something? I didn't mean to interrupt you. All right. So and then the last team in that stacked two more. I'm sorry. Two more teams in the Northwest. A little drop off here. The fourth team is the Portland Trailblazers. They won 36 games a year ago, and they made some moves this offseason. Those moves include, here it is right here. They re-signed nobody. They added Drew Holiday in a trade from the Boston Celtics. They brought back Dame Lillard and signed him to a 3-year deal after he got the stretch provision with the Milwaukee Bucks. Blake Wesley was signed to a 1-year deal. They lost DeAndre Ayton. I don't think anyone in Portland's missing him. And Anthony Simons, that was a weird trade to me because I think Anthony Simons can play. I'm honestly still don't fully understand what went on there, like in terms of why the Portland Trailblazers gave up on a guy who could play, but that's what happened. So Portland, in terms of their depth chart, who's starting and otherwise, let me pull that up real fast here. Sorry, I didn't have that prepared. So Portland's starting five is going to consist of Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, who I feel like if he's going to be a player in this game, the leap's going to be this year, I think. Denny Avdia, who had a strong finish to last season. Excited to see what he produces this year. Toumani Camara is your starting power forward, and then Donovan Clingan rounds out your starting five. Coming off the bench, Ryan Rupert, Matisse Thybulle, Jeremy Grant. I don't know what happened to that guy, by the way. He's making a ton of money, side note. Caleb Love comes off the bench, and then Keegan Murray's brother, Chris Murray, also comes off the bench for the Portland Trailblazers. Where the hell is why am I not seeing Scoot? Is Scoot Henderson injured?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Is it like for the year or what's going on? Or what?
No.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so 11 days ago, Scoot Henderson, or the Portland Trailblazers, I'm sorry, announced that Scoot will resume basketball activities in 4 to 8 weeks. After suffering a torn left hamstring. Oh boy. Okay, so a torn hamstring. He might be out for a little while there. They said 4 to 8 weeks. If that's a full tear, yeah, 2 months sounds right. Especially for a player who relies on his explosiveness. That's brutal. So Portland, the OU that's listed courtesy of FanDuel for them is 34.5. They won 36 games a year ago. So FanDuel is expecting a drop-off for this team. Frank, I'll start with you. Portland, this is a tough one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to say over. I think by 35, 36 games, if they don't make it, I don't think Chauncey's going to be around. So I think they're going to be, repping for their coach to win at least 36 games.
Good call on that. Mark?
I'm going to still – what was it, 34? You said
34.5, yeah.
34.5. I'm going to go to under. Tough Western Conference.
Yeah.
Nobody, in the starting lineup jumps out at me as, a great player. And I think that's what this roster would need in order for them to get the over on that. So I'm going to go under.
I'm with you, Mark. I actually, until we had this discussion, I had the idea in my head that Portland was going to take a leap this year. I really did. And the main reasons were I thought Shaedon Sharpe was going to progress his game. I loved how Denny Avdija finished the season a year ago. Like he was putting up some numbers, man, that were all-star level type stats. And so I was feeling optimistic about those two, but then I was also expecting Scoot Henderson to have a big role, and a torn hamstring. Oof! Like I did that happen in training camp? Like that, I missed that story. Anyways, and Donovan Clingan is not like someone who's like a game-changing type center. So whatever optimism I felt is gone. It went poof. So I'm gonna roll with you, Mark, and say under. Frank, you said over, correct? On 34.5. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. And they do play in a very tough Western Conference. And that leads to the final team in the Northwest, and that is the Utah Jazz. I mentioned a moment ago that I thought maybe Brooklyn might be the worst team in the NBA. If it's not Brooklyn, it might be Utah. They re-signed, I'll try my best to pronounce his name, Oscar Shibwe. He returns on a two-way deal. They added, Kyle Anderson's there. So they added Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, Georges Niang, Yusuf Nurkic, and they Jesus, and what a team that is. And they lost Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, Johnny Zhuzhang, and Colin Sexton, and Jaden Springer. So they lost those 5 players a year ago. The Utah Jazz finished the season 17-65. In case you're wondering, that is a very bad record. The lineup expected for the Utah Jazz this season is Isaiah Collier, expected to be their starting point guard. Bryce Sensabaugh, expected to be the starting shooting guard. Ace Bailey, who was not answering Danny Ainge's phone calls, true story, and they drafted him anyways. He's going to be their starting 3. Lauri Markkanen, if he's healthy, will be your starting 4, and Walker Kessler rounds out your starting 5. Excuse me, but important to note that Collier, Markkanen, and Kessler all dealing with injuries, and I don't know how severe. Markkanen, he'll be back soon. So Markkanen's is not a serious injury. Walker Kessler is dealing with also a minor injury, a shoulder. So those two should be expected for the season opener, and Isaiah Collier also should be expected for the season opener. Okay, so none of these injuries are serious. Keontae George comes off the bench, same as Cody Williams. Yusuf Nurkic comes off the bench, and so does Walton Clayton Jr. Taylor Hendricks, another piece off the bench for them. Hendricks actually can play, but I think he's coming off an injury from a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. The OU for the Utah Jazz is, and again, they won 17 games last year. The OU is 18.5. Mark, over or under, and why?
I'm going to give them some love. I feel like nobody's giving Utah any love, and probably rightfully so. But I'm going over. I'm going to say they go get 20 games. I'm going over.
Okay. All right. Frank?
Over. Just too much talent. Second, third year in the system for a lot of these guys. I think Collier is kind of a gritty point guard. He's a defender. Walter Clayton Jr. is probably going to be a starting guard halfway through the season. He's a low turnover, high efficient player, good 3-point shooter. I think this team is going to win decidedly more than 17.
Interesting. Oh, look at you. What players on this team excite you? I know you said some names, but are those names you just mentioned? Like, is that the reason, or is Ace Bailey factoring into this?
Well, the reason why is because their coach is a really good coach.
He is a good coach, yeah.
And I think where that's going to show up is a lack of turnovers. Sexton and some of these guys were good players, but they turned the ball over. So now they're going to be a better half-court team. They're going to be a better shooting team. And on some nights, you're going to roll into Utah and get your head handed to you because they're going to be raining threes and crowd's going to be going crazy. They're going to win some ball games this year.
All right. So, Mark, what was your pick again? I'm so sorry.
I said over. I said 20 games.
All right. So you both are picking over. I'm going to go under. And here's my biggest reason why. Danny Ainge is a shrewd son of a bitch. He loves his draft picks. He loves assets. And he loves not going for it if his team is not stacked. Something tells me like every good player on this team is going to get shut down by January. Something tells me in a draft next year that's prognosticated to be one of the deepest ever. I'm hearing that from multiple draft experts and so forth. Something tells me Danny Ainge is looking ahead and not necessarily to this season. I'm not saying this with confidence, but in a very deep West, and when you consider the fact that Utah won just 18 games a year ago, I'm going to go under. I'm going to be the contrarian here and say that despite the OU being at a meager, paltry 18.5, I think the Jazz will finish like they did last year with 18 or less victories. We go to the Pacific Division last but not least, and we're going to start with the Phoenix Suns. And the Pacific Division, in case you're unfamiliar, is the division that both the Warriors and the Kings play in. Same with the Lakers and the Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns with Matt Ishbia, they're eager, ambitious, restless owner. He fires coaches and hires them like it's going out of style. And you can see here a lot of transactions for the Phoenix Suns. They gave Devin Booker a 2-year extension. They brought Colin Gillespie back on a 1-year deal. And then these were all the additions and departures. Dylan Brooks came to the Suns. Same with Jared Butler, Jordan Goodwin, Jalen Green, Nigel Hayes-Davis, and Mark Williams. I like Mark Williams a lot if he can stay healthy. They lost Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Tyus Jones, Cody Martin, who's just out there, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. I know the Warriors had some interest in him for a brief moment there. Vasily Micic is gone, Mason Plumlee, and Ty Washington. A year ago, the Phoenix Suns finished the season 36-46. Keep in mind, though, they've made a lot of changes, and that Phoenix Suns team that won 36 had Kevin Durant on it. The starting five expected for Phoenix this year: Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Ryan Dunn, Dylan Brooks, and Mark Williams, with Jared Butler coming off the bench. Same with Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and Nigel Hayes, Nick Richards. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. So that is your Phoenix Suns. Again, they won 36 games a year ago. Their over-under this season is 31.5. I already know what I'm going to bet with this one, and I feel good about it. Frank, we'll start with you. Over-under 31.5 for the Phoenix Suns.
I'm going to go under for a lot of statements you made about Utah. I think they'll be better. You'll see the growth in some players, but at some point they're going to shut it down and position themselves for a pretty high draft pick.
I agree. I'm also going under. We just lost Mark, huh? So Mark might have had battery issues. If we lost him, that's why it's happened before. So Frank, if you don't mind finishing up with me, we'll go a little faster here. I'm also going under. I think this is going to be a contrary to the rhetoric of Matt Ishbia and company. I think this is a team that's going to struggle. I don't like the fit. If it looks like a team that just put a bunch of players together and they're hoping for the best, that usually does not translate to success in the NBA. I'm also going to bet the under 31.5. I think Phoenix is going to be one of the well-known, notorious lottery teams for this upcoming season. 4 more teams to go. We're almost there. Next up is the LA Clippers. They were 50-32 a season ago. Let me go to their team here. Their transaction page. Come on, there we go. Okay, so they re-signed Nicholas Batum. They re-signed James Harden. They added a lot of names: Bradley Beal, John Collins, Brook Lopez, Chris Paul, and Ty Washington. They lost Amir Coffey, Drew Eubanks, and Norman Powell. A season ago, again, they were 50-32. The depth chart for your LA Clippers. Let me pull that up real fast here. Sorry for not having it ready. Okay, so the depth chart for the Clippers, again, they won 50 games a season ago. James Harden, Bradley Beal, Mr. A tree planter himself, Kawhi Leonard, John Collins, and Zubac. That is your starting 5. Coming off the bench, Chris Paul, Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., Nicholas Batum, Brook Lopez. Other pieces coming off the bench include Cam Christie. And I think that's it. And Bogdan Bogdanovic, who might actually have a big role in this team. The LA Clippers a year ago, who had 50 wins, their over-under this season it went down 47.5. I've heard some strong opinions about this LA Clippers team in terms of them being potentially very good this coming season. Frank, what are your thoughts on the Clippers? 47.5 as the OU.
I'm going to say slightly better, which means they'll win probably around 48. I don't think they'll win 50, but they got too good a coach and too many veterans. They might have the best coaching staff in the NBA, at least one of them. They got Van Gundy, they got Brian Shaw, they got Ty Lue. So every game, those guys are going to be ready to play. I think they'll put their personal feelings to the side about the controversy, and they'll go out and put forth a solid effort. So I see them winning probably around 47, 48. I mean, their number was what? What was their number?
47.5.
47.5. Oh, whoa. That's tough. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna change my mind because I think they'll win 47. I don't think they're gonna win 48. I'm gonna say 47.
I was muted there. I got so excited. Mark is back. I thought we lost you for the night. LA Clippers, nice seamless transition to just fit back in like we never lost you. Over under 47.5. They won 50 last year. Mark, your thoughts?
I think it's all on Kawhi. I think if he's playing, is he healthy? If he's, is he gonna have to face some suspensions or whatever's going on with Kawhi? If Kawhi's there, I think the Clippers are really, really good. They had from top to bottom. They added another Fresno guy, my guy Brook Lopez. So all the Fresno teams. Outside of my bias or whatever, I think I would pick the over anyway, as long as Kawhi's out there.
And I'm gonna. So Frank, you bet the under, right? But you said by a smidge.
Yes.
AK, real quick in the chat. Actually, I'll save these chats for the end. I see a few things in there. I'll get to it in a second. I love by the way how we're doing an OU show and the chat is just having this one hour long argument about Brandon Pajemski, pure comedy. I'm going to bet the over, mainly because, Frank, you brought up that coaching staff. I wholeheartedly agree with you. It is it's probably the highest IQ coaching staff in the entire NBA. The fact that Jeff Van Gundy is an assistant is wild. And he could be a head coach almost anywhere. So he's an assistant. You mentioned Brian Shaw as another assistant. Ty Lue's a great head coach. They have too much talent, dude. This is a very deep team. I whether they reach 50 wins or not, I don't know. 47.5. I'm going to lean towards the over on that. By the way, real quick, Mark, what was your pick for Phoenix? The Phoenix Suns over under is 31.5. I think Frank went over, or did you go under? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
I said under because I think they're going to tank, but they definitely have the talent to win more than 31 games. But I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I went under too. Mark, what do you think?
That's what I was going to say too. I was like, I think, they're going to look at the future and say, we probably could get better. We're not going to win a championship. We're not going to go deep in the playoffs if we make a play-in or whatever. So I would go under. It just makes sense. I think it'll be a business decision. But talent-wise, yeah, they can make a push to get over that easily.
Beautiful. And that leads, we have 3 teams remaining. We're almost at the Kings and the Warriors. The Lakers are next up. The LA Lakers a season ago were 50-32. Their notable transactions this offseason, let's get to them right here. They re-signed Luka Doncic to a 3-year contract extension. They brought Jackson Hayes back. They acquired DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, and Marcus Smart. They lost Dorian Finney-Smith, and that was a huge loss for them. They were not expecting that. They also lost Jordan Goodwin, Trey Jemison III, and Shake Milton. None of those were earth-shaking departures for the Los Angeles Lakers. Their depth chart for this upcoming season, Luka Doncic expected to be your starting point guard alongside Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton. Notable bench pieces include Gabe Vincent, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt, who for the first time in ages looked healthy, and you see what happens when he's healthy. He actually makes a huge impact on the game. Dalton Connect also comes off the bench for them, and let us not forget the great Bronny James, who's also coming off the bench for the LA Lakers. The OU for LA this season, 49.5. Mark, I will start with you, sir. What's going to happen with the Lakers this season? Over or under? Are they going to hit 50 wins?
I think they get 50. I think this team is talented. I think they can defend. I think they have size. I think I really, really like the addition of Marcus Smart. I really like Marcus Smart coming off the bench for any team. Not to say that, he can't start anywhere, but I think having a player of that caliber on your bench, I think it's going to be I think it's going to go a long ways with the Lakers. So I got them getting 50 wins.
Frank, your thoughts?
What's their number?
49.5.
Yeah, it's. I mean, these Vegas cats, man, they really know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
They do. I mean, they're going to win between 48 and 50. That's just how it is. So if an injury happens, then they'll win 48. If they are healthy, they'll win 50. I'm going to go with 50.
Okay.
I think they'll get 50.
So Frank's an over. Mark, you're an over?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go under. I could be wrong, obviously, but something tells me we're going to see a drop-off this season with the Lakers. And whether it's because of injuries, whether it's because of age, I don't like this team defensively. That's my biggest problem. Like, DeAndre Ayton doesn't scare me defensively. Rui Hachimura doesn't scare me defensively. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, they don't scare me defensively. Gabe Vincent doesn't scare me defensively. Jake LaRavia is like competent defensively, but he doesn't scare me. Jackson Hayes doesn't scare me. Dalton Connect doesn't scare me. The only players on this team who, in my opinion, play effective defense that causes issues is Marcus Smart, and I have no idea how that looks at 32, 33, and Jared Vanderbilt, who is not even listed as a starter. Anyways, I think the Lakers are going to be a team that is a play-in team. Under is where I'm going with that. Just my thoughts on it. And so now we got the Kings. And side note, in the chat, someone said, why is there so much Kings talk? Because it's Tuesday night. It's called the I80 Crossover. We're talking Warriors and Kings because Bleav in Kings is dual streaming tonight. So the Kings get love as well on a Tuesday night. Every other night, I'm going to shit on them. Don't worry, folks. For the Golden State. But for Tuesday nights, we're going to keep things civil. I'm just kidding, obviously. It's a great rivalry, I think. So the Sacramento Kings is next up. And Mark, I guess I'll just let you take it away, man. I'll put the screen up for you, sir, if you want to tell the audience what they did this offseason. Can you see that?
I can't see it, but I do know all we did was bring in Dennis Schroeder, who's going to be a key piece to what they're trying to accomplish this season. The rookie Neek Clifford and Maxime Reynaud. Those were pretty much the only changes. And oh yeah, my bad, I forgot the biggest transaction, the Dario Saric move.
Of course.
Yeah, that I can't forget that one. But no,
he was making $6 million, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's living a good life. That's what he is doing.
You also forgot about Drew Eubanks.
Drew Eubanks. There you go. Drew Eubanks.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think hold on, what's the number? It's 30 what?
No, I didn't tell you that part. So a year ago there were 40 and 42. I'll read off their depth chart real fast too. For the Sacramento Kings. They're starting. Well, who do you expect to be the starting five? Then I'll tell you what ESPN has to say.
It'll be Dennis Schroeder, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis.
ESPN lists Malik Monk as the starter. So you're saying Dennis Schroeder will be the starter?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain Schroeder.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not.
What did Malik Monk do that has put him in such a like? Why is Malik Monk suddenly in every trade discussion? Why is he coming off the bench now? Like, I thought Malik Monk was considered to be one of the Sacramento Kings' best players. What happened there?
Well, I think one, they just see, when you look at the way Malik Monk plays the game or whatever, and with this roster and the starting lineup, it makes a lot of sense for him to be that sixth man. He had 2 seasons as, coming off the bench where arguably he could have won the sixth man award. I thought he should have won it the year, was it 2 years ago when Naz Reid won and he kind of edged him out at the end when Malik got hurt. But I think that's where he best fits with this team. I think he's as far as the trade talk goes, I think he was just the only one that kind of made sense to throw out there.
Gotcha.
I don't think they ever really wanted to pull the trigger or we're trying to get rid of him, because usually that's what when you hear your name so much, it sounds like they're trying to get rid of you.
Right.
And I don't think that was the case. I think that was just the only move the Kings could try to make this offseason, which they didn't. So that's why he's back. And like he said in at media day, he said that he talked to Scott Perry over the summer, and he said Scott was like, if you're going to be traded, it'll be right now. And he's like, if you're not traded, don't worry about any talk after that.
All right.
Malik said after that he went and bought a house.
Did he really?
Yeah, he said he got some acres. So he said Sacramento is home. So he's still here. So I think we seen stranger things happen. But
yes. Mark, we were talking last week about like where in Sacramento the players typically shack up. Like you brought up Roseville. In a situation like Malik Monk's where he's claiming he got acres, right. Are we talking El Dorado Hills? Are we talking Folsom? Like where is a Kings player buying acres of land in the Sac area?
I really wanted to know, because you can get acres. It's a lot of places around here you can get acres. But when he said that was the first thing I thought. I was like, I wanted to say where, but I was like, I can't ask that. Maybe I'll get him off to the side and figure that out. But I am curious.
Frank, are you familiar with the Sac area?
Yes, I am.
Where would you guess the players or in this situation, more specifically Malik Monk? Like where do you think he's calling home?
I'm gonna say El Dorado Hills with a nice little condo downtown. You know,
there you go. Ride. There you go. Yeah. That's how you roll, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The condos for game nights, and then otherwise you go up to the spread for relaxation.
Yep.
The OU for Sacramento this season, it's pretty low. 34.5 is the number. So basically, if the Kings can pull off being a play-in squad, they're going to hit the over. I think that's a safe thing to say. Mark, it's your team. We'll start with you. What are the Kings going to do in terms of the over/under? 34.5.
You know, I usually don't like speaking for people, but I'm about to speak for both of you right now.
All right.
I'm predicting. I'm predicting we're all picking the over on this. I think this is too low when I look at the talent on this team. When you think of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, you know, I think just in those three or whatever. Like I think this is way too low. I think they get over that. I think they are a play-in team.
All right.
With the potential of doing more.
Frank, are you going to roll with Mark on the over, or are you pushing back?
No, I'm going to go over as well. But you know, because I think that getting Dennis Schroeder is really going to stabilize the continuity more than last year. I mean, there's going to be 30 games, but Monk is going to play out of his mind. Keegan Murray's going to get hot. They're going to be a good offensive team. You know, I think defensively, I think they're going to have some issues. But offensively, they're going to get it going in Sac. Man, they're going to be a problem for some teams in Sacramento.
All right. I love both of your optimism here. I'm going to go under. Sorry, Mark. No disrespect. But I just want to keep it real here. I don't like how this team is constructed, man. Look, prove me wrong. Okay. Like I could very easily be wrong here. And if I am, folks in Sac, talk your shit, man. I will be ready for it. I will deserve it. But at the moment, I'm gonna say under on 34.5. And the main reason is simply the West. The West is deep. It's a gauntlet, man. And if you don't have it dialed from top to bottom, I don't know if you can survive it. I know 34.5 is low, but it is low. I'm going to go under, man. I am. I'm prepared for the scorn from Sac fans. I will deserve it if that happens. And that leaves the Golden State Warriors. We'll pull up the chart in terms of what the NBA is writing down for their offseason. This thing was blank until a week ago. And then all of a sudden, literally like a week and change goes by, and they signed Kuminga, DeAnthony Melton, GP2 comes back. They add Seth Curry. They add Al Horford. They lost Kevon Looney. Is that everybody? I feel like it's missing something. Well, anyway, so what ESPN is listing as their depth chart, I'll read it to you. I'm just curious to see what they think will be the starting five. So according to ESPN, the Warriors starting five will be Steph, Brandon Pajemski, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Bench pieces including Buddy Hield, Al Horford, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Trace Jackson Davis, Quentin Post, GP2, Will Richard, the rookie, Seth Curry when he officially joins the team approximately mid-November. DeAnthony Melton is recovering from a torn ACL from last season. He's expected back sometime December, January. They also have Guy Santos. I can't forget him. So those are your Warriors. And the OU for the Golden State Warriors as we wrap up this whole segment. And I'm gonna record all of these. So, gentlemen, next year we'll revisit this and see how we all did. The Golden State Warriors over under 46.5. Frank, I'll start with you. How are the Dubs going to do this year?
Over by a couple of games. They'll be knocking on the doorstep to 50, but I think they'll win at least 48. They won 48 games last year, but don't be surprised if they win 50. I mean, I just think they got more continuity, more talent, more veterans. Kuminga in his 5th year, I think it's going to be a highlight film. Yes, I got them going over.
Mark?
Maybe this is going to be the maybe we finish it with a unanimous right here because I'm going over too.
Okay.
No, like I like the the veteran leadership that they have over there, and then with Kuminga, coming getting his contract situated, I think this team is gonna easily. I think they're easily gonna get over this. I think they're focused in on. I'm not saying calling a championship or anything, but that's what they're focusing on. And in order to win a championship, you got to get up to 50 games at least. So I got them right at 50.
Mm-hmm. And we are unanimous to finish it up. I think the over is actually a safe bet. To me, there's a few safe bets here with over-unders. I think the Warriors are a safe bet. I love this roster, man. To me, it's the perfect blend of experience and youth. They have enough young players to carry the load for those back-to-backs and whatever injuries which may afflict them. This team has experience playing together. That training camp at Jimmy Butler's compound a couple weeks ago, underrated yet very huge move in terms of building camaraderie, chemistry. I think this is a fantastic roster construction. I'm feeling damn good about them. 50 wins is, I think, the number they're going to reach, maybe even higher than that. Armando Laura and I, the professor, did a show last Friday where we went through every single game in the schedule, and my prognosis from that was 52-30 would be the final record, give or take a couple games. But in terms of locks, I think I would bet money on the Warriors over. I would bet money on the Mavericks over, and I would bet money on the Pistons over. I think, Mark, you really like that one too from our show we did 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, I love it. I love this Warriors team, man. I'm feeling damn good about them. And in the chat, real quick here, someone wrote, are we going to get Kuminga on? Yes, I'm really excited about that. I'm really elated that Kuminga has recognized our program as being one that's has been fair to him. He has been aware of that, thankfully. He was supposed to sit down with me on Media Day, but the contract thing dragged out and he wasn't there. So that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if. We'll get Kuminga on the show soon. Mark, what do you have going on with Media Ventures as we start to wrap it up?
Man, a little bit of everything, but a little bit of everything and nothing settled, if that makes sense. But
it does.
No, I'm just looking forward to game 1 of preseason tomorrow, and I'll be there, and we'll get our first look at what the Sacramento Kings are going to look like. I'm excited to see Nick Clifford. I plan on getting a couple of guys on the show throughout the season. When that'll happen, we'll see. And
all right,
I'll keep everybody updated.
I love it. And people can be updated by following you on social media at Mark Haynes NBA, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mark Haynes NBA. And you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at The Closer Sports.
And real fast, FanDuel has a line for tomorrow's preseason opener for the Kings. They host the Toronto Raptors at Golden 1. Guess the line, Mark. What do you think it is?
I can't even guess. I'm because I have no idea. Like, I don't even have any thoughts on who's gonna win. That's it's insane. But I'm curious to know. I can't even throw a guess.
Real quick, Frank, do you have a guess? And do you have any thoughts on people who bet on preseason games? Because if the word degenerate comes out of your mouth, I would understand it. I really would.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother level. But I'm going to say the Kings by 4.
Okay.
Simply because I think both teams are going to play a similar lineups. I mean, the better starting players playing about 15 minutes a game. So it's going to come down to the bench players who will go out there who want to try to make the team. So the Kings are going to have a great crowd. I don't care if it's preseason or regular season. They're going to have a great crowd.
Yes,
so,
yes,
I got the Kings winning by 4.
The correct line, and side note, Young West 79 in the chat asking, is my condition still available? The premise being, if the Warriors win a 5th championship, I put a Steve Kerr tattoo on my body. Yes, that is still active, and I'll never criticize the man again. I want justice for Steph. That is my rhetoric. The line for Kings Raptors tomorrow. Sacramento favored by 1 in the preseason opener. And tomorrow night, the Warriors have preseason game number 2 for their schedule. That game's also listed as a home game. They're favored by 9 over the Portland Trailblazers. And Frank, you're live every Sunday, correct, with the Dungeon?
Yes, every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Check me out. The audience, the listeners are awesome, and have a lot of fun. We do movie reviews. Have you seen Just Another Battle, or one Just Another Day, or Another Battle with Leonardo?
Leo?
Yes.
I've heard. So one of my closest, oldest friends, John Zimmerman, who lives up in Missoula, Montana now. We used to go to school together at Cal Poly Humboldt. They call it that now. It used to be called Humboldt State. Anyways, he's a movie aficionado. All he's been telling me, blowing up my phone with text messages, is go see that film. You have to see it in the theater. Apparently it's the greatest movie that's come out this year. Frank, your thoughts on that film?
Instant classic. I'm a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan as a writer, filmmaker. Listen, you can argue that Sinners and Just Another Battle. I'm sorry with the title, but it's going to be right there to win an Oscar. I'm going to tell you, in terms of collective artists, they have the best collection of artists who had great performances in the film this year. So many. So it's the movie is 2 hours and like 30, 40 minutes, and it felt like an hour and 40 minutes. That's how good it is.
That's all.
I'm all. I want to go see. I'm still waiting on Apple to finally stream F1. Like, I'm still waiting to see that movie. I heard that's
really good too. Yeah,
I've heard that as well. Mark, have you seen anything good recently, streaming movies or otherwise?
I took my kids to see the Gabby Dollhouse movie or whatever, the live action. It was fun. It was pretty cool, whatever.
Look at you. You're even lying to the audience just for your kids' sake. like you're a good father, sir. That's what good dads do, man.
Yeah, that's all I got is Gabby Dollhouse. It was a great film, and it looks like they dropped a bomb at the end. It looks like we're going to get not a new Gabby. Maybe her sister is going to start taking over and playing with the dollhouse. So,
all right. By the way, Young West 79 saying Black Rabbit on Netflix. I concur, man. That is a great show. Frank, have you seen it?
I have not, but I'm gonna check it out.
Chef's kiss to that. Mark, I'm guessing no, maybe yes. Have you seen it or heard of it? Or
I haven't. Yeah,
it's a good show. Definitely recommended. Go check that out.
October, so like all month, all we doing is Halloween. So anything scary, that's all we're on.
Well, and you and I were talking about how Wednesday is one of those shows on Netflix where like the parent can be entertained as well. Yes. But you already you went through that, right? You finished it?
Yeah, we done.
It's a good show, man. Yeah, Wednesday's really good.
Awesome.
And yeah, we're back tomorrow night here. Frank, I will extend the invite to you for post-game shows if you're ever available for those, man. I'll hit you up soon if you ever want to join me. But we're back tomorrow night. Warriors and Trailblazers post game. Mark, what do you have coming up next? Anything specific or no?
No. I'll be on tomorrow night as well, or whatever, following the game. So
with the closers, right? So if people subscribe to the closers,
subscribe to the closers. You'll see Bleav and Kings will pop up. We'll do some, talk about what we see at game 1 of preseason.
Nice,
awesome.
Nice.
I'm gonna check that out.
Thank you.
I
gotta have you on, Frank.
I appreciate you, brother. Gentlemen, thank you, man. I really appreciate the opportunity.
What is that hate? What is TFNC2? Whatever the hell. Why are you hating on us, man? What do you mean the show's going downhill, man? Look, I'm kidding. Obviously, I don't care that much, but be specific. If you're gonna hate on anything, provide some specificity so people can actually respond to you and address what your issue is. Are we done otherwise? We good? Any final thoughts?
I'm good.
We done?
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
You too. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.